Um, well, so on that topic, one of my favorite sections in the book was a discussion that Riley was having with her mom. And it was, talking about whether Riley was going to have these conversations with Jen. And her mom was like, sometimes we need to swallow our pride and reach out, even when we don't know what to say and we're afraid of messing everything up by saying the wrong thing. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to talk about something. All that matters is you try. The longer you let something go, the easier it is to stay silent, and the silence is where the resentment starts to fester and rot. And I just thought that that was so poignant. Like you said, I mean, it does seem to be like a self-perpetuating cycle of fear and silence and not knowing if you're going to say the wrong thing or be receptive to hearing another person's view. So, now that you've written a book, seemingly touching on it a little bit, do you guys have any advice for people needing to have those difficult discussions or being open to hear the things that need to be said? Or
lean in.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like this wasn't easy for us. We had to have a lot of hard conversations during the writing of this book, and it's been 3 years now. And we were like, there were times when we were like, we don't know if our friendship is going to survive this. But we leaned in and we did it. And now I think we're in such a better place. Like we're in a really great place personally and professionally. We're working on another book together. And so we want to tell people, like, we're like, okay, we see you. Like we understand, and to give each other the grace to have the conversations, to say, I'm giving you the leeway. Maybe you will say something that you might think is stupid, but like, let's at least just start talking and stop having the knee-jerk reactions. I mean, even this far into our friendship, we were in the taxi this morning going to the Good Morning America studio, and I was like, Christine, I'm gonna need grace.
She made me hold her hand.
Can you hold my hand? I'm like, I might say something and I don't know if it's dumb. And she's like, it wasn't that bad, what you said.
I don't even remember what it was.
I don't remember.
That was like 10 hours
I know,
ago.
that feels so, we also hadn't had coffee or anything at that point. And yeah, we're like, work at it because it's worth it too. And I think that line that you just read out, by the way, we have never heard anyone else read our words until today. And we're just like, oh my God. It's the silence that does let things rot. And it's the fact that, also we had this huge racial reckoning while all of us were locked up in our houses. And so I think that silence and that not being able to be together and have these conversations, even if they're hard, has allowed things to fester. And this is friendship and good conversation is the only way to get through this.
And we want people to use the book as a tool, I mean, actually like a tool, as you were saying, even Jen, like I read this book, like, what did you think about this as a way in, right? It's often easier to talk about fictional situations, like it's a little bit of a distance, right, than your own experience. And so the people can use the book that way, in the way that you might not say like, oh my God, let's talk about race right now. Like, what do you think of XYZ topic or headline? But you can say,
also because that's a weird opener.
Yeah.
Like,
so
hey,
yeah,
that's
awkward.
That's awkward for everybody. That no one wants to do.
Zero people want to do that.
Zero people want to do that. But it is easier to say, hey, I just read this book. What did you think about this section? Like, did this make you feel as icky as it made me feel? Did you have this much anxiety when you read this part? We did a corporate event, like a diversity and inclusion event, and 2 men read the book. And men are not necessarily our target audience, but they both really enjoyed it. They both said, like, one of them said the older white man from the South said that he cried at the end of it. But both of them at the end of their talk said, oh my God, like, this gave us so many more ways to like bring our full selves to our workplace, because
we could talk about the book.
We could talk about the book, and then we could talk about our personal experiences. And the Black guy talked about how his sister is a newscaster and she gets so many terrible racist comments. And the white guy talked about how he grew up in the South 10 years out from segregation, but how he had never thought about all the work that had to go into creating an integrated football team in his high school. Yeah. And so it started conversations we never even expected, which is awesome.
It was really powerful. And also that I mean, as an editor, you're always like looking for the widest audience, right? Of readers. And so book clubs are still really segregated, right? And even reading audiences can be really segregated, right? Like, this is a Black book, this is a white book kind of thing. And so it's been really gratifying that when we get feedback from people, like different kinds of readers, or even looking at book events where, I mean, book events even can be very segregated.
They often
right? You look
are.
around,
Yeah,
you
look
see
around.
a sea of brown faces or a sea of white faces, right? And so the fact of the matter is, we're getting so many different readers of different backgrounds, and now genders.
Okay, now gender. Now the men are in the room.
The men are coming for
The
this. Who knew? And so that part is really gratifying, and that's going to lead to different kinds of conversations, because kind of conversations one book club or one friendship group or two best friends are going to have are very different than the kind of conversations another book club, and so that's where there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of, it's just interesting and fascinating to see the different roads this book will take people.
And we want to bring together different kinds of book clubs, because like Christine said, like, a lot of book clubs are like a mostly white book club or a mostly Black book club. And we're like, what if we can bring those book clubs together with wine and this book? And then everyone can like talk about how they absorbed it in a different way and what they took away from it.
Wine feels very vital to that.
Wine feels very vital. Yeah, we need
a liquor sponsor.
We've got a liquor sponsor. We are actually the book club pick for Owl's Brew, the boozy tea company. So we're like, all right, everyone get your Owl's Brew.
She's pointing over there.
We've got a case of it in the corner. It's not time to start drinking yet. I have to keep telling myself that, because we've been awake
2 p.m.
1:30.
Well, I was going to say, if y'all are in Eastern time, you're almost to 2 p.m.s.
So close.
Well, so going back to the writing process, how did you guys write? How do you co-author a book together? Do you choose a character's perspective? Do you choose a chapter? How does it work? Let us know.
It's interesting because everyone assumes that is how we do it. And that is
like I was the Black character.
And I'm the white character. Yeah. And that's not how we did it at all. We had a really robust outline going into this, because we sold the book on a partial. We sold it on 100 pages with a very robust outline. So we knew where we were going. And I was used to writing books. This is my
I've lost count.
9th or 10th book. Depends if we're counting the ones that I wrote for the TV show Younger. And so I'm really comfortable with the blank page. Like, I'll just put words down. And Christine is an editor, so we fell into those roles with the first chapter. But then we each took on this, the others' roles going through. And so one of us would go in and be like, all right, I've got this scene. I've got it in my head. I know what's going to happen. I'm going into the Google Doc. And it was all Google Docs. And then the other one would be like, great, let me know when you're out. And it's like, and then the text comes, I'm out. You go in. Mm-hmm. And so then the other one goes in. We pass it back and forth and pass it back and forth. And so much of the book played out in the comments section of a Google Doc. So it's like, we do suggestion mode sometimes if we think it's like, do you love this sentence so much that I can't destroy it?
We had our darlings.
I love that.
We can't cut it.
Keep that metaphor that I know you hate. See, I'm about to say fucking. And so, yeah, so both of us had a hand in every sentence of this book, because we went back and forth so many times. It was just like layer on top of layer, and until
we had
you have a layer cake. Yeah.
Wow, that's so fascinating.
Wow, ricotta. A rainbow cake. A rainbow cake.
We're just hungry.
We're so hungry. Someone bring me some goddamn cake.
Well, let me start to wrap this up. So what do you guys hope that people took away from We Are Not Like Them?
We want people to feel hopeful first and foremost. I think, among the things that people might have a knee-jerk reaction about with this book, when you hear like a book about race and a police shooting, and it's always heavy, bleak, like hard, right? And nobody wants to read a difficult, bleak, hard book right now. And so we really wanted to have the book feel life affirming and hopeful, and a reminder about the importance of the relationships in our lives, our families, our friends. And so like a feeling, like enjoying the book, like if you never even talked to another person about it, which is icing, but like enjoying the book, feeling moved and touched, feeling like you learned something and that you had an emotional reaction. Like when people say they cried at reading the book, like it's terrible to say, oh my God, I'm so glad you cried. but it does mean a lot, right?
Yeah.
That people were so touched by it. So that would be,
because we're like, why write a book if you're not gonna make people feel things?
Yeah.
Like that's what we want people
Yeah.
to feel the things. And yeah, the hope is a big thing for us. There's so much crappy stuff in the world right now that we want people to be able to, you know, just fall in love with these characters, even when you freaking hate them. And this story and this friendship, and come away hopeful that there is a better day ahead.
Well, I hope that they do too. And I think that you guys being selected for the Good Morning America Book Club choice, I really hope that it gets into a ton of hands. And
Yes, thank you. We do too. Let's get it in all the hands.
all the hands.
All the
Well,
hands.
also, I mean, we just really appreciate you having us, because it takes a village to spread the word
Such
about
a
books, and
village,
that's what it is. Like, I love a book and I want to tell so-and-so about a book and I want my book club to read it. I mean, that it's like the most beautiful organic thing in the entire world. Like, you cannot make that
No, you can't.
magic
you can't make
happen.
that
It
magic.
does or it doesn't. And so, just getting a chance to talk to people who love the book, who are curious about the book, who want to read the book, is such a great opportunity for us. So we really appreciate being here with you today, and especially on launch day.
And we have a Peloton fun fact. Christine is the one who convinced me to buy my Peloton. I was, a little Peloton averse, a little Peloton nervous.
I've sold like 1,000 Pelotons
Sold
over
so
the
many
pandemic.
Pelotons. And so I was here, we were working the book during the pandemic. She's like, just get on for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I ride a road bike. I don't need to bike inside. And I did it for 10 minutes. And I called my
I'm
husband.
like, you're gonna love
I
it.
called my husband. I'm like, get me a Peloton. And he did. And so now we're both like Peloton junkies. I am a big Emma fan, and Cody and Dennis. I'm like, Dennis was a surprise for me. I'm like, I did not know that I was gonna like really enjoy Dennis's classes, but even his yoga, he's so soothing.
We're also different in that way.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
everybody has
Everyone has their
like
favorites.
instructor crew.
Yeah, who are
Emma,
you?
Alex, Kendall.
Mhm.
I love Jessica Sims so much.
I've never even taken a Jessica Sims class.
Love her.
Okay.
Just love her so much. Really do. Like, I feel like we're friends, we're not, but I feel like we are.
I like a Jen Sherman. She gets, when I'm having a rough day, a Jen Sherman is nice. Yeah.
And Cody. I mean, everybody loves
Everyone
Cody.
loves Cody.
So
yeah.
yeah, somebody asked, did you make sure to vote for Cody on Dancing with the Stars?
I did indeed. Yeah. I voted, was it late last night? The days don't make any sense anymore, but yeah.
It's probably in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cody creepy fan girl.
He's fun.
Yeah.
You think you're friends? Like, I think I'm friends with Jess.
I think I'm friends with Cody. Yeah. Yeah. It's not normal. It's not okay. He would be afraid.
Well, Jen, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. And we always like to end our chats. I don't want to steal any thunder because it is pub day for you guys, but I'm going to ask you each to recommend one book, and maybe it's tied to, the topic of your book, or maybe it's not.
I'm gonna do
but just one book that you guys have maybe read this year that you want to recommend to the group.
So, what's so interesting about being an editor is you'll scream to the moon about the books that you publish, right? Like, which I'm going to tell you about a book that I recently published with Simon & Schuster. But it's so easy to be like, you have to buy this book, you have to buy this book. And then you can't say the same thing for your own book. You know what I mean? It feels so creepy and gross.
But that's because we're women. That's because we're women, because men don't have that problem.
Or like, buy my book.
Are like, buy my book. I'm like,
it's the best book ever.
Or like Dave Eggers, like, I don't even need Amazon. I'm Dave Eggers.
We need you, Amazon. But the book that I love is called Three Girls from Bronzeville by Dawn Turner, and I published this book with Simon & Schuster. It came out on September 7th. Lots of wonderful reviews, and it's just like people read this book and fall in love, and it's about her and her younger sister and her best friend from growing up. I mean, speaking of long-term friendships, they met when they were 8. And the different twists and turns their lives take, which I promise, will not see coming. And it's about, sort of how race affects our lives, but also about fate versus personal choice and reconnecting as grown-ups. And it's just, it's such a good book. So.
And Dawn is also just such good people.
Lovely woman.
Such good people.
Oh my God, she's the best. Amazing. Like Joe, she's become, I just met her publishing her book, but she's now one of my dearest friends in the whole world. I can only do one of those at a time. I'm stuck with this one right here.
So cute.
I posted about this in the Peloton Mom Book Club. And Christine and I both love this book, with Great Circle.
Oh, I have
by-
another. Oh my God,
by
this is like
Maggie
how
Shipstead.
perfect. I
Yeah,
have all these
we
visuals.
love.
We didn't even plan this.
We
but I have to
loved
do
this book. I mean, I just think it was the best fiction that I read this year. I'm so impressed with Maggie. I'm like, why does she? We kept texting each other. We're like, why does she know everything about everything? Like, she knows everything about being a pilot in World War II, and World War I, and celebrity pop culture. And we're just like, she's the smartest person.
It's
in the
really
world.
kind of
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah,
But a beautiful, beautiful,
Beautiful book. Beautiful
Very-
book.
Don't be
Yeah.
intimidated.
But
by
it's
the
big.
line.
It's big. But that's okay. You get through. You don't want to put it down. It's really good. Yeah. So those are
Yeah, we chatted with Maggie in August about the Great Circle. So
Yeah, and she's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
Also,
You'll have to
good
check out
people.
our.
We just love when like good people write good books.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cheering her on. You know, she's a finalist, I think, for the Booker. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you'll have to check out our YouTube when you have a chance and listen to her chat. She was really interesting, and
for
she asked
sure.
all those questions like, "How do you know about all this stuff?"
Why do you know everything, Maggie Shipstead?
Yeah. Yeah, she's another traveler like you are, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been everywhere.
She's been everywhere. So Antarctica
Yeah.
is on my bucket list, and I was about to get a trip. I was like supposed to write a story about going to Antarctica on one of these intrepid cruises. It was all booked, and then I got pregnant. And it was my first pregnancy, so I was still weird about it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should go until I get this test and this test. And with second baby, I would have been like, if I go into labor on the boat, I go into labor on the boat. Yeah, my damn kid thwarted my Antarctica dreams.
And now the clock's ticking.
Now the clock is
before
ticking before
it
it
melts
melts.
away. So
It melts, yeah.
TikTok.
On
Awesome.
that happy note.
I know. Speaking
Yeah.
of melting bleak.
Well, we're
we
probably
don't cover
standing
climate
between-
change at all in the book.
We don't. We don't
Yeah.
none of our characters even recycle.
We are probably standing between you and lunch or a little snack. So
I want chocolate. I just want
guys
chocolate so bad.
yeah, that sounds really good right now. Well, thank you for joining us and the Peloton Moms Book Club. Thank you, Jen, for leading the discussion. We will definitely promote We Are Not Like Them constantly within the group and on Instagram. Thank you so much for your giveaway that we're running right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't participated in the giveaway, jump on and do that. That will end in a couple days. So thank you so much. We're so proud and honored to have you on today, and best of luck. And we can't wait to celebrate all your success with the book.
Oh, thank you guys
Thank
so
you
much.
guys.
It was
It's
a
so
pleasure
fun.
to be
It was
here. We had
great.
so much
Yeah.
fun.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Have a great day.
See you on IG.
Bye.